As more organizations seek to step up their equality game and show their interest in DEI, or what I like to say IED, it can seem that the equality efforts of some turn into all show and no go. And as someone who has unfortunately been the token panelist in previous corporate events earlier in my career, I have to say that DEI efforts can quickly turn into a performance if it's not done right. I have some research to actually back it up. Hi, my name is Mamobo Ogoro and I'm the founder of GORM and a social psychologist. And if you want to learn how to unify across differences and not be a diversity washer, please subscribe to our channel. I recently came across a 2023 study by researchers Andrew Baker and colleagues that really put on the map my assumptions and really kind of showed it in a funny way. Funnily enough, the study was called Diversity Washers, and it really kind of says what it does on the tin kind of thing. The study looked at 5,000 public traded companies in the US, and they looked at the data surrounding both the diversity commitments and the actual diversity outcomes of the studied organizations and companies. The study is 72 pages and quite a chunky read, but it is super fascinating. The researchers created methods in which they could measure DEI commitments and the actual outcomes of diversity efforts within the organizations. And by looking at reports such as CSR reports, voluntary diversity targets, and employee satisfaction surveys, the researchers really dug deep into how the diversity commitments matched with the actual outcomes of diversity within the organizations that they studied. The results will leave you kind of scratching your head, and for those who are in DEI will kind of leave you like, oh my goodness, why am I doing all of this? But the researchers found a significant, and the word significant is very important in research, they found a significant increase in the diversity washing amongst publicly traded companies that they studied. Even though there were inconsistencies between their external commitments to diversity, equity, and inclusion, the researchers found that the actual hiring practices and understanding of discriminatory behaviors, etc., was much more different. They found that diversity washers received a higher score from ESG rating organizations and attracted more investment from ESG-focused institutional investors, meaning that the better these organizations could talk the talk about diversity and not necessarily walking the walk, they were still more likely to get more money and investment within their organizations. And here's the kicker. These very same companies that were characterized as diversity washers, they were more likely to have discrimination violations. And it really goes to show that these organization studies strategically prioritized DEI discourse, aka talking about it, over the actual deep action, deep commitment, and deep outlook on diversity, equity, and inclusion within their organizations, selectively putting in what the ESG funders want to hear within their disclosures. But wait, what exactly is ESG? Well, ESG is environmental, social, and governance standards. It's a set of standards for the planet and people, and particularly how companies and organizations play a part in the equation. And a disclaimer, I'm not an ESG expert, and especially on the E and the G, I cannot help you, so don't call me. But I have a perspective on the S when it comes to ESG. While ESG has gained attention from companies and their investors alike, the environmental and the governance factors have long been prioritized within their organizations and their strategies. However, the social aspect, particularly as it relates to diversity, equity, and inclusion, is often treated as something that's separate, that's something that's over there for those people to do. So what's the S in ESG? The S in ESG, or social, involves the social aspect of a company's operations. Again, the people are the biggest asset in any organization, and it includes the groups that are involved within the environment. These include the customers, the community members in which the company lives in, let's say, and finally the employees. The customers are affected by the quality and safety of the products or services that the organization offers, as well as their advertising practices, privacy policies. The organization has to be aware as to how they play a part in terms of customer satisfaction and customer service. And of course, they're thinking of that because they need to sell products and service, duh. But the customer is very important in the S equation of ESG. The community members, these involve the individuals living near the company's premises. So this can be, for example, the factories or even the offices. They may be impacted by issues such as noise, possible pollution, or other factors that cause or come about when an organization has a physical premises. And it's essential for companies to engage with community members and adhere to the human rights standards when it comes to demonstrating the S in ESG. They need to demonstrate respect to these people and consider the overall well-being of the communities in which the organization has its premises. And finally, employees. This group is impacted by various factors such as wages, health and safety benefits, training and development opportunities, and you guessed it, diversity, equity and inclusion. I'm not going to leave that out. These initiatives overall impact the internal culture of the organization, and this is the bread and butter of most organizations as they move forward and become more sustainable.